Alright, welcome back. Time for a brand new project. I think I have a lot of subscribers from a long time ago when I was trying to build the tiny house in the shipping container. That's all well and good, but I was 18 back when I started that, and I didn't realise how mobile my life was going to be, so I'm never really in the UK to make any use of it. So now I have bought myself a giant van, as I think it's the cool thing to do these days. But this is going to be a lot more practical because I can actually live in it and use it and turn it into a little tiny house. It's an Iveco Daily. Let me show you the outside quickly. Iveco Daily, long wheelbase, high top. Even I can stand up and I'm tall, but maybe not after the insulation and stuff is in. But yeah, for first job, get these walls down. It's all pop riveted in. I've already started, but there's a hell of a lot of pop rivets. I've just got to drill them out. Take these walls down. There's actually some insulation in there, but it looks awful. We can get rid of it and do it properly with some solid foam board and make a proper vapor barrier and everything. And yeah, it's good to start a new project. This is kind of your before shot. Okay, so I made quite a bit of progress so far. These are my insulation boards. I've just been to collect those. We've got a 100mm for the bulkhead at the front, separating the driver's bit. These are the floor, the 25mm, and the rest of these are 50mm, which are going to be the walls and the ceiling. It's going to be pretty heavily insulated because I need this thing to be able to keep me alive in the winter. So I'm designing it to -5, -10 maximum really. So it should be fine for that. Just experimented with some of these sound deadening things. They're basically just like heavy bitumen or something. I've seen them online on other van builds, but honestly, I don't think it does anything. it's crap. This panel, I mean, it all sounds the same. They're just adding weight that I don't particularly want. So this side, I realised it didn't do anything. This side I put 2. I don't know, maybe you could convince yourself it's slightly different, but I'm not buying it. I bought a pack of 10, I'm not putting any more in. It's just weight for no reason, I think. I think the insulation will do a better job of isolating some of the sound. So the next thing, so the floor's up as well. I managed to get close to £100 for selling all the walls and the floor, because it's all aluminium. So that's pretty cool. It's like a cashback from the van, which is nice. And it also saved 200 kilograms, 220 kilograms, something like that, which is, I think I can definitely get the walls and the floor done with plywood in under 250 kilograms, I would think. And I also got the van weighed, and it was 2,300 kilograms, empty, no passengers, and none of this insulation. So that's my starting weight. And it's nice to get like a baseline before I put all the stuff in. And yeah, just need to progress with insulation boards. I've used this solid, I'm going to use this solid board stuff. It's got foil face, which is a nice vapor barrier, which is nice and easy. And then I've got foil tape to seal the gaps, because I want the whole van to be sort of like an insulated box with the vapor barrier all the way around. So when I have a shower in here, it's not going to just condense on the van and to create its own little raining ecosystem in here. So yeah, next up, let's get the insulation in and get some of the rust painted on the floor and get the floorboards down. Okay, so progress has been made. I've used a wire brush on all the rusty parts of the floor, anything that showed even like a slight colour of rust, and painted it over with metal paint to protect it. These are going to be the timbers to support the floor. They're actually, I've spread them quite far out because I want to maximise the amount of insulation in the floor, and because it's solid insulation board, it should actually support the plywood that goes on top. That's what I'm hoping anyway. I'll be putting some cross members in some places, and definitely sort of near the door where people are going to be standing in, and right up to the edges. I didn't want to put these long timbers right up to the edge of the wheel arches, because this is where all the corrosion happens, and if I need to repair it in the future I think it would be really difficult. So this way I'm probably going to put a strip of plywood down the side, I'll be able to lift it out really easy and get to the wheel arch. So yeah, so I'm going to use a little bit of grab adhesive and some stainless steel screws. The adhesive will stop it rattling when you're driving, and the screws will probably do most of the holding work. Okay, so I'll come back to you when I've got more done. Okay, next up then, got the 25mm insulation boards cut for the floor. They're all cut to size. I need to measure this full sheet of ply, it's 9mm plywood, around the wheel arch, which I'm sure I'm going to make a mess of, but we can give it a go. And then on this side I'll do like a little strip cut around the wheel arch, and then at the front again a nice easy little rectangular strip and another full sheet there. And I guess I might have to do some messing around in the corner, I'm not sure yet, like cut the step off. Yeah, so that's next up. I'll try and also show you it with no plywood and just the insulation all stuck down. I'm using, so for the strips it's just stainless steel screws, and then I put some need-no nails underneath, and then some of the outside strips, like at the front, there's one across the front and there's one just right up against the lip of there, that's just stuck down with the adhesive stuff. Okay, so all the insulation boards are now cut to the right size, hopefully. I've labelled them all, and I've just swept everything out to get it nice and clean. I still need to fill a little hole down here from underneath. And hopefully my labels are good, I can get them back in the right place. And then what I'll do is I'll apply the vapor barrier. Well, the insulation itself is a foil face, so that acts as a vapor barrier. I just need to tape along the joins to make a proper seal to stop any moist air getting to the floor when it's cold and condensing. And yeah, then the plywood on top, screw it down, and we should be good to go. So this is it without. Okay, so the plywood's down, the insulation's underneath. I haven't got all the plywood down, this bit's not even screwed, but got to cut it around the little fiddly bits, like the handbrake sticks back into the load compartment. Yeah, just screwed it down into those tiny little battens and going okay. Now I'm on with the walls, putting the 50mm solid board in the walls. This one down here is 30mm, this is really fiddly, it's like a jigsaw. You have to cut little tiny pieces that fit in there and then slide them along, but it's quite fun. That's the original vents from this van, which I'll be making use of the one on the other side for the shower and the kitchen. So that's a good way to save having to drill a hole anywhere. And yeah, it's going pretty well. Really, this bit's all completely done. Across here I'm going to be using the, I think the Americans like to call it Reflectix. It's like foil bubble wrap. It's basically a vapor barrier. Some people seem to think it's insulation, but it's basically just a vapor barrier. And that perfectly fits across here. So that means I don't have to mess around with tape. I'll do the tape probably on these bits. Oh, if I have some spare of this, I might even do that all the way up. And yeah, I'll run that and I'll run it over the wheel arches and take the plywood from the floor up and tape it to the floor so it's a complete envelope all the way around. So I just need to continue with that. Hammock's up for resting. I've got my fake skylight. I think it turned out quite cool. I mean, the colour of the light is just like daylight, so you can't really tell. Because the idea for this van is I don't really want to be drilling holes that I don't need to be drilling. I don't really want to put a roof vent in if I don't have to. I can use those vents and a powerful fan to pull air in and out of the van. The problem for me is I haven't got loads of money. If I knew, you know, I had loads of money and it doesn't matter if I need to sell it, you know, I could just throw it away or whatever, then, you know, I could drill holes and do what I need to do. But the problem is, as soon as you start putting holes in things, you're reducing the resale value. Like, if I want to sell this to a builder or something, he doesn't want a roof vent in the top. And, of course, as well, there's the stealth factor. If you see a roof vent on top of the van, you know there's somebody in there. It's instantaneous. And also the insulation factor, because I want to be staying in this van in the winter, hence why I'm going so overkill with these insulation boards. And in the winter, yeah, you do need to control the humidity and the airflow, but I'd rather do that mechanically, you know, through ducting and a heat exchanger, than just have a hole in the top of the van. Obviously it's going to be pretty dark in here, so that's the fake skylight. And also I've got these two little portholes which make use of holes that are already in the van. They're kind of like mini portholes. They look like LED spotlights, which is kind of funny. But that's just a piece of, I actually use Lexan because it's like super strong polycarbonate and it's UV resistant. and there's one there, one there. These will be right above the bed, so if it's dark in the morning you're actually still going to wake up. And yeah, basically normally they have these little plugs in them on these Ivecos. I think it's for cable access for if you have a light bar on the back if it's a work van. But I really like those, I think they're a nice touch. And yeah, I'll maybe talk a little bit more about my planning, my ideas for the van, because I know it's not having windows is a big deal for some people. Because again, I'm changing the purpose of the van, whereas it's easy for somebody else to add windows, it's impossible to to undo it. So I can't sell the van if it has windows as a cargo van. I'm reducing the potential for, you know, potential customer base, so to speak. So that's my logic so far. Of course I could change my mind in the future, and I'm probably going to be building some kind of window type thing on the inside of the doors, so when you open the door you still have windows. But yeah, I think that's enough for this video, and if you have watched, thank you very much, and I hope you'll continue to follow me on the rest of the build and see the van in the end. So thank you, and bye for now.